Good afternoon all, and thank you for joining us for another Secret Sunday session today. Today I'm very excited because I have Arti and Sharone here from ClearStep. ClearStep is an amazing product that we're going to talk all about today, which is making massive change in the eating disorder space. But first off, before we jump into the amazing questions, can we get a little overview of who you both are? So Arti, I'll start with you. Who are you and what is it that you are doing?
So my name's Arti. I am a marketing manager for ClearStep. I'm actually in the States, and we're so excited to be here with you, Ashley.
Thank you. And then Sharone, who are you and what are you doing with yourself?
So I am the head of customer support, product specialist, relationship manager for ClearStep. So I just deal with our clinicians and clients and help them navigate the scale if they need help with anything. So I'm just like the point person, like, you need something?
Awesome. Now, if we talk about ClearStep, this amazing product that I have only recently found out about, but for those of people that don't know, what is ClearStep?
So basically, ClearStep is a remote virtual monitoring solution. What we do is we help clinicians get the information they need through blind weigh-ins, with making it an easy, seamless, anxiety-free experience for the client. We want everyone to feel very empowered through this process. So basically what ClearStep does is it's a scale. It has an app attached to it. The client would step on the scale. You would not see any number at all. You'd look at the app. It would say that your weight has been captured. Through the computer and the internet, they get sent to your clinician, who then can keep track of your weight trends, and they see the information and the vitals and everything that they need.
Wow, it's amazing. I love the concept, and I think in eating disorder recovery, it's so needed. Where did the concept come about?
So we actually had an eating disorder clinician approach the parent company, which also has a numberless scale, but with feedback, which obviously would not be appropriate for the eating disorder population. And they said, this could be perfect for the eating disorder population if we got rid of all feedback and just had the number go straight to the clinician. So they collaborated with us and came up with this amazing product, ClearStep, that really removes the hassle from getting blind weights and makes it easier for clinicians to monitor their clients and for clients to get that information to the clinician in an anxiety-free way.
Yeah, because I remember going through my recovery and seeing that number and feeling like you're defined by that number. It's incredible the amount of emotion and fear and anxiety that's attached to that. Have you got positive feedback from the scale from patients?
Yeah, from patients, from clinicians. We've had both say this has been an absolute lifesaver for them, because getting blind weights otherwise has been almost traumatic for some. I mean, it either involved them having to go to their doctor often, which is like a headache in itself, or having a family member do a blind weigh-in for them. And that can really introduce a not so healthy dynamic in some cases. And so just being free from that, it's like, it seems like such a little thing, but it's made a huge difference in people's lives. And we often hear like, oh, how did I not think of this? Or how did no one think of this? Like,
that's what I was thinking when I first heard of it. I was like, this is so smart. How has no one thought of this yet? And that's my next question. How long has this product been around for? Or because obviously I've only recently found out about it, but how long have you guys been running for?
So ClearStep's been pretty active since about March, April of 2020, which was really good timing because of the pandemic, when clinicians had to all of a sudden counsel virtually, which was very new for so many. So they were like, how am I going to do this? So the timing was key. I'm glad it came out when it came out, because it did help a lot of clinicians who otherwise would have been stuck.
Mm. And then if we look at the clinicians that have access to this clear step scale, do they have to be specialized in eating disorders?
Yeah, Arti, you want to?
So they do, so the scale and kind of the weight, the virtual monitoring, it can be used across various disciplines. Like it can be used in like gastric bypass, it can be used in oncology, it can be used in college students, it can be used for sports teams. There are so many different ways the scale can be used. ClearStep itself is very focused on dialing down into the eating disorder community and improving that process through recovery. But hopefully in the future, we do hope to expand.
I think it would be amazing, even just when you look at how often people do weigh themselves, and for health benefits and sporting environments as well. That scale is not just affecting, that number on the scale is not just affecting people with eating disorders, but people across the world in all different environments. And I remember a conversation in the news the other day here in Australia that they've now got rid of skin fold testing here, which I think is phenomenal, because of the anxiety that it brought among young men. And you think that it's just affecting the eating disorder population, but it's affecting people worldwide.
Absolutely. And we've had sports teams use ClearStep to monitor hydration. And that way they can, they don't have to risk triggering their athletes with seeing the scale, right? Because that can be very triggering for, especially in certain sports, but they could monitor their hydration levels and make sure that they're not losing too many fluids. And so it really has a lot of uses, but we do focus primarily in our outreach in the eating disorder community, but any community could benefit from a blind weight. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely, especially in the 21st century when those body image issues are just so high at the moment. If we talk about eating disorders in America, obviously, I'm here in Australia and don't know the statistics or even the environment that eating disorders are sort of having in America. What is it like? Can you give a little insight into, are we seeing an epidemic in the US as well?
So the statistic is 28.8 million Americans suffer from an eating disorder, which is about 9 to 10% of the population. The problem is a lot of times people don't realize they have an eating disorder, right? Because it can go undiagnosed for years. It can trickle in slowly. There are kids now, I think, especially with social media growing up. There's a Wall Street Journal article that alluded to it. So I'm not qualified to say if it's an endemic or a pandemic or anything like that, but I think it is increasing. And I think a solution like ClearStep, even just giving like awareness to like eating disorders and like kind of shining that light and kind of getting it into, hey, like there's no negative stigma around it. Like, let's talk about it. Like, let's make this more apparent in the healthcare community and kind of fix those disparities in healthcare.
Do you think there is a strong awareness about eating disorders in America?
I think it's getting more light than it was in the past. I feel like people are becoming like people like yourself, even like they're talking about their journeys more and recovery, and they're being open about it, right? So I think the more you kind of talk about something and you're like, hey, like I went through this, then more people come out and say, hey, like maybe I have that too, or maybe this happened and I should get checked out. So I think it's like leading that awareness and kind of being that trailblazer where you can, like, people are just more open to the concept of it and talking about it and talking to their like healthcare team about it.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, thankfully the stigma around it and mental health in general is lessening. Like we're moving in such a positive direction with that, and that's really because of people like you who share their stories and are just authentic. I mean, they're just true, and they give courage to other people to do the same. So it's a great trend in that respect, that it is becoming just more open.
Yeah. Then my second area of questioning is resources. Are there enough resources for people with eating disorders in America?
I think there are disparities in care everywhere in the world. And even just being in America, it doesn't mean like we don't have them. We do have them. There are rural areas where I spoke to someone probably 2 weeks ago who was talking about how she traveled 7 hours to get treatment. And the area that she was in, there was no eating disorder clinician, there was no one to see her. So I think there are disparities in care kind of across the US.
Yeah, but we also do have organizations that offer free resources. So there's like NIDA, Project Heal, a bunch of others that I can't think of right now, but where we do have them as well, and that's a great thing. So hopefully we'll have more and more as time goes on.
Yeah, it's such a tricky space, and I know even here in Australia our resources are quite limited. Awareness, once again, is being pushed in this space, and social media, we have to thank that for it. But yeah, resources, unfortunately, the medical system, it's just, and as mental health in general, it's just hard to get support around that, and even to get people trained in that area, because it's a tough subject to want to learn about, and it's a tough subject to commit to that person, to wholly give your all to a person where for a long period of time of their journey they probably don't want help, and it's really hard to push that and to keep turning up for that person. So I get it, here in Australia we are struggling as well in terms of resources. There hopefully is more talk and more initiative that is starting to implement change, but it's still unfortunately just lacking a bit, and it's obviously happening globally.
Yeah, I have to say that I've now been at ClearStep for, I guess, 20. I can't even do math right now, but a long enough time where because I speak to clinicians every day, I've gotten to know them, and I feel like eating disorder clinicians, it's like a special type of clinician. I mean, they take on the hardest cases and they give everything. They're so committed, and you can hear it in their voices, and when they're concerned, you feel it. And so I really do think that clinicians who go towards the eating disorder space are just like a special kind. I can't describe it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you're in for the long haul. It's not a
Yeah.
temporary diagnosis or a temporary fix. This is a long journey, and you got to stick with that person for that whole journey, through the ups and the downs, and there's many of them. So I give my hat off to them every single day, because they're a special type of person to commit to that job.
Absolutely.
And then when we talk about your relation to ClearStep, why did you both decide to be aligned and work with ClearStep?
I'll go first. So I was within the parent company of ClearStep, just kind of doing some consulting. But when I learned about ClearStep, I was immediately like, oh my gosh, like this product is amazing. Like what? I was just so excited about it, because for me, just whatever I do, I guess, like work wise, I want it to be in the helping field. Like I want to feel like it's making a really positive difference. and more than just like, oh, this will make someone happy because they like it, like it's a bag or it's a, not that there's anything wrong with that. I feel like I just shot myself in the foot, but just in the sense that it's really making this like very powerful, positive difference. And so when, from the very beginning, when I learned about that we have this product, I was like, I want to get involved. I want to get the word out. I want to help this grow. And it's been so gratifying since. So that's my story.
And then Arti?
So I think what really kind of drew me into ClearStep is it kind of combined like my three interests, like business, healthcare, like, and then technology. And then it's like, you're making an impact, right? Like every day when we make changes to the product or we like get a new clinician onboarded, like we're making an impact in the clients' lives and the clinicians' lives. And you see that impact that you make, but it's also serving this like disparity of care, right? So having virtual monitoring, like you could be sitting in Australia, your clinician could be sitting like halfway across the world, like hypothetically, right? And now you can get the care that you deserve and you need. And I feel like healthcare should be accessible to everyone. And you know why, like that's something just I'm very passionate about, that healthcare like should be accessible, and we should try to fix these like disparities in care. And if we're using technology to do it, like let's do it. Like let's figure out more ways to figure it out.
That's pretty awesome. And technology is advancing so significantly, and to be able to share that with the community, and you said provide accessible healthcare across the world, that's phenomenal. And it's exciting, I guess, every day turning up and being able to make that change. And even if it's one person's life, that's really, really cool.
And I have, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, have you both been at ClearStep for a long period of time or a short period of time?
I've been at ClearStep since August, so fairly new.
Fresh.
Yeah, I started January 20. Wait, I feel like I'm not getting these dates right. Sorry, like I can't do that on the spot. I remember December 2020. So yeah, December 2020, I think, is when I started to get like very involved with it. And I have to say, like, I have never been good with tech. Like, I'm that person that's just like, how do you turn this on? And then like I'll like jam the button and then the whole thing will like freeze. And like I've always been so intimidated by tech. And so I think like there's just this huge irony that like I help with tech support. But I also think it's meant to be, because I understand, like I understand the anxiety around it. I understand why it might seem confusing at first, but really it's not so confusing at all. But it's just like tech can be really intimidating. And so I love to help people through the process and then see them go, oh, that was easy. Awesome. Oh, cool. Like I just love hearing that in people's voice.
I couldn't believe it, how simple it was as well, when obviously I got my amazing scale, and when like it was all through the app, and I couldn't believe, even talking to you, Arti, about it, how it's just codes and everything. Here I was thinking it was going to be really complicated and having to send so many emails, so many different people, but it was so step by step and so easy, and everything's outlined even on the box, and you kind of can't go wrong, even if you're a really bad tech person, which I have to admit, like myself, not that great. It's so easy. And I think taking away that pressure as well from the clinician or the patient to have to start something new and have to learn something new, you actually don't. It's very easy just to set it all up and to take that stress away in an instant. Yeah. And I think as well, I want to talk about because obviously it all goes through the app. So does that so if we talk about the pathway and the step-by-step process of how it works, when the person steps onto the scales and their weight gets recorded, is that automatically then sent to the clinician, or is there a time frame, or do they go, hey, something's coming in, so-and-so's weight's coming in, or how does it work?
It's so cool. It's instant. So as soon as the scale captures the weight and the user gets a confirmation on their app, thank you for stepping on, your weight has been sent to the treatment team, the clinician can access their weight instantly on the portal. And they can even set an alert to get an email when their patient has weighed in. So yeah, it's like super cool. And it's remote, it's instant, we're HIPAA secure. So it's just like a snap of the finger. It's really cool.
Yeah. Is it, I guess as well, like looking back at my recovery, have you, when you were designing the scale, seen challenges in the concept where someone could cheat the scale?
Yes. So we actually had an incident where we got a call from a concerned clinician. And then upon further investigation, it turned out that the patient was weighing themselves in front of their parents, but putting the phone on airplane mode. And they had screenshotted their confirmation from before, showing it to the parents. And then when the parents weren't there, holding weights and stepping on the scale. And that was what was getting through to the clinician. And within 24 hours, our development team altered the app so that the confirmation page now has a date and time stamp on it. So we're doing whatever we can. However, we cannot guarantee that someone won't water load or that someone won't hold weights. That's just beyond what, yeah, like technology can only go so far for now. But we do encourage clinicians to get a baseline weight from the patient's doctor, just so that they know where they should be starting from. So that way they can, look at trends and see if it's making sense. And also if a clinician is seeing a patient virtually, having them step on the scale just kind of randomly, that can also be kind of like a good check. But yeah, we have the information for the clinician, but it's really for the clinician to see the numbers and see it, hopefully be able to suss out if something is not making sense.
I was even thinking and talking to a couple of clinicians in my area about recovery in my journey. I always had to get weighed when I saw my clinician, and they had the scale with them, and getting weighed at their practice, which I thought would be more effective in that avenue, because you couldn't so much cheat because your clinician was there, but then you also wouldn't be able to see the number. So I was talking to clinicians about doing it that way, because I thought that would be a lot more effective than having that sort of, because I know what you mean, even in my journey, having that, putting on that extra water or holding weight. It's just when you're got the illness that is just so forefront in your head, you're not thinking clearly, and you'll do anything to try and make it seem like you've put on more weight.
Totally. The thing with the scale though, which helps, is because the client cannot see the number, it makes it a little bit harder to manipulate the scale in a way that doesn't look off. And it's hard to do a normal fluctuation of weight too. So that is something that works towards the clinician's favor. But I would say that as a whole, we haven't had that problem as much as we were fearing that we would in the beginning. And I think it's because many who are in recovery, from what we can tell, really want to recover. And they know that this is part of what they have to do to help that along.
Yeah, that's the thing. Once you choose to recover, you've got to make that choice yourself and really push to not cheat the scale. But I think it's phenomenal that we're having this conversation and making amendments to also help that whole process. Were you guys scared or worried of how the scale would be received?
I think we really believed in our product and exactly the pain point we were solving from a client and a clinician standpoint. So it's something we are really proud of. We're really proud of like the work our development team has done to make the app and the scale itself and the technology that goes into it. So I don't think that fear was there. I think it was more, how do we get people to know that, hey, there's like an option out there for them that doesn't involve like an anxiety type of process where like, you know, the weight's getting covered, or like, did the paper fall? Like, we've heard so many stories from clinicians and how they used to be worried about it. Like, oh, we like want to make sure like the patient never sees the weight. And it's a very sensitive subject kind of going through recovery. So we're really proud of our product.
Oh, you should be. It's phenomenal. And as I said, like, to have this and to have the technology to support any sort of recovery where you feel like no change has been made in this space, but clearly it has, is phenomenal. And we're able to push this now. As you said, it's a great conversation starter in this space. Where do you think ClearStep is going next? Is there anything we should be looking out for or in the future?
You might see a new device added.
Yeah.
Kind of all we can really say right now.
Yeah, that's we're constantly thinking of how we can innovate and how we can be even more helpful. And so yeah, we have a few things in mind for the future, but I feel like we'll get in trouble if we talk about it.
I don't want to get you in trouble. I just, you always got to just ask it.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Here and there. You might be lucky one day. No, that's awesome, guys. And you should be so proud of everything that you are creating and the change that you are making in this space. Where can people find ClearStep, and where can people, if they want to purchase a scale, how do they go about it and where do they look?
So you can follow us on Instagram at ClearStep Scale. We also have a Facebook page if you want to follow there. It's Facebook and then ClearStep Scale. If you want to learn more about ClearStep, if you go to www.myclearstep.com, we have, if you're a clinician, there's the clinician tab. And then if you are a parent and you want to just learn more about it, there's another location for you there. And then if you want to purchase the scale and your clinician has recommended it, then there's a client site also.
Awesome. And people can purchase this worldwide no matter where they live.
Yep. You can purchase worldwide.
Awesome. How amazing. And well, yeah, I'll show them what it looks like because I love mine. And so when I first got it out of the box, I was like, it looks like a mini UFO. Like when you it's just
a little faster.
Amazing. And then you step on it and it lights up and you feel amazing. And yeah, so literally you don't see a number at all. So I am very happy. And I thank you guys so much for coming on today and speaking about the product and doing everything that you're doing. It is amazing. And if you think that you're not, you are really changing this space and you're really starting a conversation and eliminating triggers when we talk about, as I said, the number and being defined by that number, no matter who you are. It's triggering for everyone at some point in their life because we think we're defined by our weight and there's so much more to that. You're taking away that pressure and it's amazing. And I want to say thank you so much. And thank you for always being able to help me share my story. And I look forward to further being able to connect and to share this product and for more people having this in their homes and in their clinics.
Thank you so much for having us on. Really, we are so grateful.
No, and thank you for working with us. You've been amazing to collaborate with, and just your insight into even your own story. You're so impressive, and being vulnerable and having that courage. Again, like we're definitely all in awe of you and like everything you've done and you're doing for the community.
Oh, thank you so much. Look, together, hopefully we can, if it's changing one person's life, then we're doing something right. And thank you. I once again appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming on here today. I appreciate everyone out there as well for tuning in for another Secret Sunday session. It's been a very special one. If you haven't, go check out ClearStep now on the website, Facebook and Instagram. You can find all the products and resources out there. And you might even get yourself your own scale, which will be a purchase you will not regret. that is for sure. But thank you very much, guys. You have a lovely evening. I'll have a lovely day, and we'll catch everyone next time.